Lovely. Okay. Hello, everyone. Um, so I just wanted to welcome you, whether you're here live with us today in the Zoom room or whether you're joining us a bit later on YouTube. I'm going to be handing over to April in just a second, but this month, we have a sponsor. So I'd have a little bit of a thing to read, so please bear with me. There we go. So I'd like to mention our kind sponsors for this month, who are the Birth, Breath and Death Institute. They are an inspiring and nurturing organisation and community dedicated to furthering the development and professional skill set of those called to hold space for birthing, living and dying. So they would like us to kind of announce that they're holding a weekend workshop on the 16th and 17th of June in County Donegal in Ireland. And it's going to be covering holding space for pregnancy loss and dreaming and healing through life transitions, of which you would receive a certificate from the Institute. So I'm just going to post a link in the chat, and if you're watching on YouTube, this will be in the description. So if you would like any more information about that, please do head over. They are wonderful people to sponsor us this month. I'm very happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with no further ado, I shall hand over to April, who is here to talk about our submissions. It's very exciting. I'm very excited. April. Da-da-da.
Hello, Sass.
Hello.
Hello. And was that County Donegal that you said?
Yeah.
Where it was being held.
Did I say it wrong? Did I say it wrong?
Maybe.
I am sorry to everyone
And
in
I'm by no
Ireland.
means an authority.
Sorry.
Yeah. That was just a bit of banter for you. Hello, everybody. Hopefully I require not too much introduction for all of you, but just in case those of you need a refresher or you've never seen my face before, I am Reverend April Kling Meyer from SAS's, not just SAS's class, but also SAS's study group. So that would be class of 2022. So I am new at Interfaith Ministry, but bringing in some very old, for me, skills in managing this project and in presenting it to you, because it is important that we all know and understand the guidelines of this project before we endeavor to see it to fruition. And I'm really pleased that all of you could make it here live. We are very excited to present to you what we've been kicking around for the last few weeks. A lot of work, but yet a lot of love has gone into what we're going to be presenting to you today. I would say we are committed, deeply committed to what we are presenting to you today. Of course, we are open to input and feedback as needed, but we want the container that we've created to be honored and respected as well. So finding a balance is always a tricky thing, but we want to just name that there is a deep commitment to what's being presented here with respect to the work that's gone into it and how much love has gone into it. So let me open up my presentation here. Now, is everybody looking at a screen that says OSMIC presents the book project submission guidelines for OSMIC volunteers, members, and Onespirit ministers? Okay, great. Thank you. So today I'm going to go over the working title and the intentions of this project, what we're working with, theme and prompts, what we're looking for, the submission process, how to get your work to us, and 4, invitation to contribute. Whose work are we open to? So starting with working title and intentions. Our primary intention with this project is to raise funds for the ongoing administrative costs of OSMIC, as well as for its hopes for future expansion and efforts, et cetera, et cetera. It's our aim to market this book not only to other interfaith ministers such as ourselves, we also hope to create something marketable and useful to the general public to maximize the amount of money that we're able to receive in the support of OSMIC as an organization. Our secondary intention is to relate our work to the greater public in ways that anyone might find enriching, especially those who might be considering interfaith ministry for themselves. So the primary intention is this is a fundraiser. The secondary intention is this is outreach in that particular order, and not really even that distant. It's pretty much just primary intention, secondary intention, right on top of each other. Theme and prompts, what we're looking for. The meat of the book, the contents of the book itself. The working title of the project is The Elements of Interfaith. And the elements really are going to play strongly into what we're going to be presenting with our final product, the book itself, as you'll see in this presentation. So we're excited to announce that OSMIC and the Book Project Committee will soon be accepting entries for a book we plan to release later this year, the compilation of the work of Onespirit ministers all over the world. The working title, so working title meaning that we're not married to it, and this is definitely up for evolution as we see what comes in and what the content actually entails from all of you, is The Elements of Interfaith. And as our primary theme, we invite you to consider the 5 elements as you contemplate the work you create and submit to this project. To spell that out, all submitted work will need to explain, illustrate a relationship to, or draw inspiration from one or more of these elements: earth, water, fire, ether, air. And if you require clarification on any of that, we are open to your questions. Save your questions for the end of the presentation, but we definitely are open to discussing what we mean by the 5 elements. And prompts to consider as you dive into your creative and work for what you're planning to submit as an entry. Who or what is goddess, God, higher power? How do we connect to soul or spirit? When is someone considered holy? Why spirituality? And what is interfaith? Bearing in mind that our target audience for this is going to be outside of our ecosystem, but also giving those of us within our ecosystem food for thought. Prompts versus theme. Your work does not need to answer the prompt questions to be considered. We merely provide them as inspiration to you as you endeavor to create or select from your body of art and writing to submit them to this project. However, your work does need to require demonstrable inspiration from one or more of the 5 elements named as our theme. The submission process, how to get your work to us. So we will be accepting writing in the forms of poetry, storytelling in prose, essay, ceremony or ritual in script format. For ease and accessibility, we require 12-point font, no more than 2 pages length, no more than 1,500 words, single spaced, and on A4 page size. Now, I realize that single space might be a challenge for the ceremony or ritual script format. Just if you were to single space it, let's say, it would take up 2 pages, okay? Visual arts, digital images or scans of any of the following: paintings, drawings, photography, collage, prints, please inquire if none of the above. And we'll have inquiry, we'll have the contact information for your inquiries at the end of the presentation. Submitted as an embedded image on an A4 PDF. We're more than happy to offer guidance on how to make that possible for yourself. Accompanied by a paragraph explaining the work, 200 words or less, 12-point font within the same PDF, and no more than 2 pages total on that PDF. Full color unless the original work is black and white or grayscale. A low-res image is preferred for the submission process, but you will need to be able to provide a 300 dots per inch resolution or higher for the desired print size of the work, should your work be selected. Now, an invitation to contribute. We will have a form. This is not part of the presentation, but we wanted to mention that we will have a form that you will need to submit your entries for consideration. Saswin will have more information about that at the end of this deck that I'm giving you here. The invitation to contribute, whose work we are open to. So guidelines for entrance. Number 1, only those who have full copyright to all the material in your submission will be considered. So if it's a collaboration between you and someone who is not a Onespirit minister, who does not grant you full clear rights, it may not be a clear case for us to admit that into the book. It would be preferable that if it is some sort of collaboration, that it is another minister and interfaith minister from the Onespirit ecosystem. We'll go into that in just a second. But you would need to basically affirm that you have full and clear rights to the stuff that you're submitting to this book, to your entries. Number 2, all must be the original work of an interfaith minister or ministers who have completed the Onespirit Interfaith Foundation Seminary training by the submission deadline. So the submission deadline, it appears to be happening immediately after this year's ordinance. So people who are currently ministers in training would be open to submitting their work if they are capable of meeting the deadline. But generally speaking, this is going to be to people who are have already completed the training as of today. Number 3, no particular priority will be given to ROSM, OSMIC, Onespirit Ireland, or any other ministers' membership groups, paid or unpaid, regardless of your level of engagement or interaction with OSMIC, or any of these named, or any other related organizations among the Onespirit Interfaith Minister community at large. So if the simple line will be, if the training for Onespirit's minister training has been completed, you are eligible. And our methodology on this is, if they're not currently engaged with OSMIC, we hope to make them more engaged through their submission to this book. We hope to treat this as a portal to being more involved with OSMIC and being more active as a member, or just being a member in general. Guidelines for entrance. Multiple submissions are welcomed and encouraged, yet, number 5, we kindly request a £5 or €7 donation to OSMIC for each submission. This is optional in the case of those of you who are in need of greater financial accessibility. However, those of you who are able to pay the fee make OSMIC and the book project more accessible for everyone. Number 6, here's your deadline. We require all complete submissions to be received no later than just before midnight on Monday, the 31st of July, 2023. If I don't have it when the clock strikes midnight on August 1st, or if SAS doesn't have it, or if the committee doesn't have it, to be clear, we will not be able to accept the work as a submission. And here is our commitment to diversity and inclusion. We wish to strongly encourage members of our community who are Indigenous, migrant or immigrant, Black, people of color, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, ace or aromantic, etc., or disabled, to lend your talents and voice to this project as we aim to be radically inclusive of a wide breadth of voices, traditions, and practices. We will not ask you to qualify yourself in any way as a member of a marginalized group to be included, as we respect your privacy and your right to self-identify. If you need more information, or if you have questions or require clarification, please reach out directly to Sass Adams at Onespirit Ministers in Connection at gmail.com. We will then gain clarity from our editor team and respond to you as quickly as possible. Best of luck. On behalf of the Osmic Book Project Steering Committee, we wish you the best of luck and creativity. And that would be to name who is firm on that committee right now: Sass Adams, Reverend Sapphira Verba-Winsky, and myself, Reverend April Kling Meyer. There are others who have stepped up to volunteer, so if I have not included your name in this presentation, it is merely not to shock you in seeing your name in this, but we want to make sure that we know that people who volunteered to be in this community steering committee, we hear you, and we will have a need for you in the very near future. At this time, I want to hand it over to Sass to go over what to expect next in terms of the form and how you will gain access to that process. Before I do, though, are there any questions for me personally so far?
April, would you be able to stop the presentation for a second, just for the sake of the recording? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Did that work?
It did. Thank you.
I have a question. I don't know who really to address this to, but would it be possible to get some kind of PDF of that presentation that's, in words rather than pictures? Great, thank you.
If you don't mind me jumping in quickly there, April. So what the plan is with regards to this form, everything that was in the presentation is going to be on this form. It's going to be a Google form that will be there for you to fill out, ready for the submission. It's going to have all the detail that we've just covered. I will put my hands up and say the form hasn't yet been created. I completely ran out of time before this presentation today. So the plan is, over the next couple of days, I'm going to be making sure the recording is up together and on YouTube. I'm going to make sure the form has been created with all of the details that you need. And so it's there, it's going to be there permanently. It's also going to be detailed on our website. And I will then email that out to everyone on our email list. And just to mention, Helen, because I see you there, I don't think you're on our list at the moment. So I'll talk to you separately about that, if that's okay. So everything will be emailed to you, all of the links. And the only thing I'd say is just keep that email address on hand, the Onespirit Ministers in Connection. Any questions at any time whatsoever, email me on that email address. Even if it's you're having technical issues trying to get the submissions over, I can help you with that. If you have any general questions about what we'll accept, what we won't accept, or anything about if you want having trouble with the payment fee, anything like that, just email that address. I'm pretty much checking it daily now, so it'll be about 24 hours or within 24 hours that I can respond. Does that answer your question, Felice?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Were there any other general questions or thoughts or ideas? Ooh, I think we're good. In which case, I will stop the recording. There we go. See you all soon on YouTube.